All right, guys, so thank you so much for being here tonight. We're going to cover a lot of the basics. If you're watching this on the replay, if you're watching this from the YouTube channel, watch it throughout the entire video. Make sure that you take notes so that you can begin to take the process of going to the next level. And every Wednesday night at 9 p.m. Eastern, all active IML students are going to have access to this trading training call. All right. So guys, I'm going to share my screen with you as we get started. All right. Now, guys, if you do not have one already, write this down. First note of the night. Okay. And as we're going through this, please feel free to type in the chat box if anything goes wrong, if you can't see me, if you want me to kind of dive into something a little deeper, just drop it in the chat box. All right, guys. So number one, guys, you should all have a TradingView account. Okay. So let me go to the very, very basic. So let's actually go to tradingview.com. Okay. So when you get here, guys, this is tradingview.com. This is where you should be charting from home. Okay. MetaTrader 4 is awesome on the cell phone, right? Like I love MetaTrader 4 on the cell phone. You get to trade, press the buttons, you're in a trade. But when you're actually going to chart, I actually encourage you to do it on TradingView. Now, there's also a TradingView app. If you did not know that, you can download the TradingView app. And here's the awesome thing. You can create a free profile on TradingView, right? So mine is Steve Max Excel. And you can create a profile there, and whatever you chart is also going to be on your app when you open it. So as you're on the go, if there's something that you were charting, now you can take it with you wherever you go. Even though you did it maybe at home, on your laptop, on your computer, now it's going to be on your cell phone device on the TradingView app. Okay, it's a free subscription. You don't have to pay for it. There are like little ads, there are limitations, but you can get it for free. Okay, I pay for the one that's a little bit more. It's like the third tier. Because there's certain things that I want my TradingView to do, so I pay for it. In your first few months, you don't have to pay for TradingView. You can literally get it for free. All right. So again, go to tradingview.com and create a profile for your TradingView account. Now, I'm going through basics here. So let's say you wanted to look at a pair like USD/JPY. Also known as UJ, okay? You enter that. You're not gonna go to the actual chart, right? And I've been using this thing a year and it still frustrates me. It's gonna go to a screen like this. You're gonna go down here and click full featured chart. It's gonna then send you to another page. This is where the actual chart is, guys, okay? Now, I have some drawings here that I did for somebody, some charting that I did for somebody, right? But when you get here, it's going to look like this. You see? Just a plain old chart. And I'm going to show you some of the things that I chart when I'm charting, okay? But it's going to look plain and simple, just like that, okay? And once you chart, it's going to remember it forever because you logged in, all right? So remember, this is why you want to create a profile on TradingView so that it saves all of your charts. Okay. Also, I want to show you guys something. This is how you utilize our Telegram groups. Okay. Because some of you guys, maybe you're not as active on Telegram. You don't even know what to put. Number one, please do not be embarrassed to post on Telegram. You don't know how many people I've had tell me, you know, Steve, I'm just embarrassed because I don't really know much. Listen, please drop questions in the Telegrams, right? Tell them, you know, hey, I don't know how to do this or that. Can you help me? We are here to help you succeed. One of the ways we can do that is as you're charting on TradingView, look at this, guys. Do you see this little camera here where my mouse is right here, guys? Okay, there's like this little camera picture button. You're going to click that and it's going to give you this link. You see that link right there? You can then copy that link and drop it in the Telegram group. The awesome thing about this is now we can see what you're charting. We can see what you're thinking about trading, and then we can critique it in a healthy way and maybe see things that you don't see. Sometimes I still post my trades in the Telegrams to get a perspective. Also, I may post it in there so that I can give you guys an opportunity to see the trades that I see. So those are some simple things about Telegram that I want you to understand. And I'll be diving into more charting later on in this call. But so far, guys, did all of that make sense? Okay, if that makes sense, just drop a 1 in the charts if all that makes sense in the chat box. If you have any questions on that, please drop your question now in regards to what I've spoken about, if there's any question at all in the chat box. One of the things that I realized, guys, that a lot of times we get lost in the lingo, right? Like there's certain verbiage, there's certain things that we say that may sound crazy to people that are just starting. So for instance, right now, this is USD JPY. That means that's the US dollar with the Japanese yen, right? But sometimes we'll call USD JPY UJ, which is just the acronym for an acronym, if you will, right? The first letter of USD JPY, the first letter of, the first letter of USD, the first letter of JPY is UJ. So we will call USD JPY UJ. Don't get confused on that. The same thing with, we'll say GJ. GJ is just GBP JPY, right? AU is AUD USD, Australian dollar. So again, this is lingo that sometimes what I don't want you guys to do is get frustrated because you don't understand. Sometimes educators, and in videos or even like some of the other iMarkets Live, mentors, we may talk so fast that it loses you, right? So just understand UJ is USD JPY, AU is AUD USD, simple things like that, all right? Now, a couple of things I want you guys to take note of outside of having a TradingView account. I want you guys to write this down, forex21.com, forex21.com. Now, the cool thing about forex21.com, when you go there, guys, this is what it's gonna look like, okay? And you're gonna say, Steve, why do I wanna know this? Well, you're gonna go to free tools and you're gonna go to the compound calculator, okay? And I want you to put in your balance, I want you to put how much money is in your live trading account right now, or how much money you plan on putting in your live trading account very soon. I usually give the example of $100. Why is that? Your first account should not be more than $100 to $200. First of all, everybody here should be trading on a demo account for the first 2 weeks, okay? That's just reality, okay? But outside of that, when you start trading live money, I want you to start with $100 or $200. You shouldn't put more than that, okay? Why? Because your first account, you're gonna learn how to play with it. You're gonna learn how to put money in the game. And let me just tell you right now, if you blow your first account, if you lose the money in your first account, guess what? That's normal, okay? Guys, this is a long-term game. And I'm gonna show you why it's important to keep that perspective, all right? Put in this starting balance right now, how much money you wanna put in your account. Then I want you to put how much your goal is gonna be, okay? I'm sorry that that's what was told to you, Lakoya. I don't encourage that, okay? If you wanna do that, that's okay, okay? That's up to you. And if your mentor told you that, I don't want you to go back to your mentor and say, hey, Steve Max told me not to do it. I don't wanna create issues with your mentor. But what I tell my people is $100 to $200. Why? Because if you could manage $100 to $200, you could manage 500. You could manage 1,000. But what I don't want you to do is put the only 500 bucks that you can into a trading account, lose it, and then you quit on Forex. I'd rather you lose a $100 account or a $200 account and then be able to fund another $200 account than you put $500, it's your first account, it doesn't go good, and then you give up. Guys, does that make sense? With what I'm saying about opening your first account with a small amount, do you understand what I'm saying? Is that clear? Does that make sense to you guys? Okay? So, awesome, Lewis. Cool. So check it out. Starting balance. I'm going to tell you 100. Okay? 100 bucks. Then I'm going to show you doing 3% a day. So somebody put, is there a way to do risk management? Absolutely. So my trading plan, guys, only allows me to risk about 3% of my account a day. That means for every $100 I risk, about $3, right? It's not a whole lot, is it, right? But I'm risking 3% to make 3 to 5%. And we're gonna look at that. Somebody asked about the shorting tool, longing tool, which is how you figure out your proportions and risk management. I'll show you guys that in a second. So let's say that you started with $100 and you grew that at 3% a day, okay? So you're only gonna make $3 your first day, right? And I know, because when I started, if you told me that, I would have probably never started, right? I was like, yo, I'm gonna make thousands of dollars my first month. I now believe that is the wrong way to get started. That is the wrong way to do this. The right way to do this is to have a perspective of 3, 6, 12, 24 months and being absolutely financially free when you get this, right? Guys, you're all already in the business. Here's the truth, the reality of it. Most successful traders break the code within 12 to 36 months. So if you haven't been here yet, I want you to be, if you haven't been here for 12 to 36 months yet, I want you to be very patient with your current results. Why? Because every successful trader that I know that has made hundreds of thousands and millions of dollars has done so after 24 to 36 months of taking this seriously, meaning dedicated, consistent time, right? Now, going back to the screen, $100 grown at 3%. And instead of months, pretend that number says days. We're going to do this 5 times a week. That's about 241 working days a year when you take out your holidays. And guess what? $100, guys, 6 months later, all right, you can have a $3,000 account. Now, here's what I would say. If you're consistently making 3%, you don't got to stay with $100. Now you could put $500. You could even put $1,000 because you're being consistent with it, right? Guess what? It's going to multiply the time that it's going to take for you to have consistent results and to grow an account. You see, we've got a guy on the team. He's a retired police officer. He took a $200 account to over $100,000, but he didn't do that in a few days. He did that over the course of 6 to 12 months of consistently trading at a profitable level. So you're going to have the ability to do that. Now, the reason I show you this chart, guys, is because I want you to be patient with the process. You're not going to be, you're not going to be a 6-figure, 7-figure trader overnight. I want you to be patient. But if you have a long-term vision, guys, you could take a $100 account and 12 months later, 241 trading sessions later that you win at 3%, you could take a $100 account to over $100,000. Now, when you have a $100,000 account, how much is 3% in one day of $100,000? Who wants to put it in the chat box? Who else wants to put it in the chat box? All right. So Mike, if you can make $3,000, Lakoya, if you can make $3,000 in a day because you were patient in growing a $100,000 account, you can make $3,000 a day, withdraw the $3,000 and still have $100,000 left to play with. Could you change your life with that type of money? Well, that's why I want you to have this type of long-term perspective. All right, guys? So forex21.com, write that down, okay? I want you guys, here's what I do. Part of my trading plan is I come in here just about every day. I put the balance of my account. I put the number 3% there and I calculate it and I go all the way down to the bottom so I know where I'm going. You got to look at your goals every day, right? When my trade gets to 3% and I don't want to close it, I remember 3% is all I need, right? 3%. Sometimes I'll go for 5, but 3% is all I need. Why? Because that's what's going to get me to financial freedom. So I want you guys to have a long-term perspective, right? So forex21.com. I did mention IMO Academy, guys. Very, very important. Finish all of the Forex basics, all of them. Don't skip any of them. Make sure you go through technical analysis, all right? Eventually, you do want to do the advanced and the intermediate. But usually once you finish technical analysis, I tell people to go through iMarkets Live TV, okay? I'm gonna share with you guys some of my favorites on iMarkets Live TV right now. So in the Forex basics, so, Mike Miles was always instrumental to me getting started, guys. He talks a lot about the mindset. He's been in the game a long time. He's been with iMarkets Live for many, many years. Very, very powerful. Chance and Samantha also are amazing. They give you a great foundation for basics, but they also teach you how to use what's called pitchforks. I personally am not a fan of pitchforks. It's a little bit too techy and technical for me. I like more simple stuff, but I've got traders on my team using their pitchfork strategy, and they make money and they're very profitable with it. Abel Melendez, super, super awesome guy. This guy teaches market structure. Very, very powerful teacher. I encourage you guys to watch Abel Melendez. He goes through market patterns, candlesticks, just like Trinity Pitts, Derek Zeladon. Very, very powerful, Abel Melendez. And Jimmer, guys, Jimmer is a massive swing trader. So if you want to learn how to trade over, long periods of time, meaning, you do a trade maybe once a week, twice a week, Jimmer is a great guy for that. All right. Let me look at some advanced people to recommend to you guys that are very, very good. Christopher Derrick, one of the favorites. Lex Waves, he's awesome in the morning times, and he does a lot of fundamentals. So if you want to learn about economics and stuff like that, very, very powerful. Evan Cabral, guys, super, super genius kid. He also teaches binary options. Very, very powerful. Leon Davies, super, super simple strategies, market structure, trend lines. I mean, Leon Davies is awesome. Guys, Kyle Woody and Kevin Serrano, if you guys want to go into sessions where they're literally just calling out trades, that's where Kyle and Kevin are. They're not going to educate you a lot, but you're going to get trade setups from them. Tyrone Foster, very, very powerful. He has a full course that he used to charge thousands of dollars for in his IML TV sessions. You can go in there, watch the recordings. Oren Wright, also amazing, amazing teacher. He has the level scanner. So great, great stuff there. Nez Vasquez, guys, this guy is a beast. Also, he teaches binary options. If you don't know what binary options are, it's a quick way to double money. It's a whole different thing. I mean, you got to learn Forex first, but great, great stuff there. And then I guess the last person I'll mention is Dr. Kathy Kirkland. She just shoots out trades. That's all she does. So you log into her sessions, she's going to get you into trade setups right away. Now, here's what I will tell you. There's a lot of people that you could watch. I only want you to focus on watching maybe one or two people consistently. If you like what they do, stick with them and master what they're doing. You see, the biggest challenge you'll have as a new trader is there's going to be 1,000 ways to trade. There's going to be a million things that you can learn. Focus on learning one thing and getting very, very good at it. All right. Also, guys, with the harmonic scanner, somebody said, hey, is the harmonic scanner giving you live entries on the spot, or are those suggestions? Okay. I would go with the second. These are suggestions, okay? Do not just enter a trade because it's here, okay? And tonight, I'm not gonna be able to go through the scanner and show you how I'll do it, but I want you to understand it's very accurate. Like if you just took standard trades, you probably would average around 70%, okay? But I want you guys to get a little better than 70%. So what you would go is go to iMarkets Live TV. Once you understand the basics, go to the harmonic scanner channel, and these people teach you how to use the scanner. My personal favorite, you want simplicity, go to Farron's strategy. That's the one that I use with Bollinger Bands. Very, very simple strategy, very, very good. Gene is also good. Manny Quinones, guys, he gets a little bit more in depth and complex, but he's also good. So any of these guys that you watch on IML TV are gonna be phenomenal, all right? So with that said, guys, that's the deal with that. The harmonic scanner, there's a strategy that I can teach on future sessions. I'm not going to teach that on this session, okay? But just know there are certain strategies that you can use, that you can utilize the harmonic scanner for your entries, but I want you to get the best ones, okay? So watch IML TV for that. Now, something extra I want to give you guys tonight. Everybody here should have Coinbase.com. Write that down. Coinbase.com is the simplest way for you to get into the cryptocurrency markets, okay? Now, I'm not telling you to buy cryptocurrency. I'm not telling you should invest a lot into cryptocurrency. I will tell you I do, right? I have a very high belief level. Right now, guys, Bitcoin dropped, okay, it's about 10,000 right now, right? I started in IML when Bitcoin first was like really blowing up big back in 2017, right? At the end of 2017, like around August to December. I saw it go to $20,000. All right. I was in the game at $20,000. All right. And then I saw it drop. And now I saw it shoot up to 13,000. I'm telling you guys right now, you got to get ready for the next rush, guys. Okay. So Coinbase allows you to buy cryptocurrency and you can store it there. Eventually, you're going to get what's called a cryptocurrency wallet. If you guys want me to talk about stuff like that, I'll talk about it in the future. But you can go to Nick Gomez from IML TV. He teaches all about cryptocurrency. Very, very powerful stuff. The guy's made hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars in cryptocurrency. So make sure you pay attention to him. You could also buy all kinds of different cryptocurrencies such as Ethereum. I'm very bullish on Ethereum long term. Bitcoin as well. I do not mess with Bitcoin Cash. I don't really care for Litecoin. But Bitcoin, Ethereum, I have a lot of that. Also Ripple, a lot of that as well. You guys can learn about, all those things. Ivan Paychex, if you guys use Swipecoin, Ivan Paychex, Crypto Picasso, they focus mostly on buy as much Bitcoin as you can. Guys, right now, Bitcoin is 10,000. What happens if it goes to 100,000? For every 10,000 you spent, you'll make $90,000. Don't mortgage your house for that. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. But maybe that's a great way to spend some of your residual income if you're marketing. Maybe that's a great way to spend some of your money from trading, invest in some cryptocurrency, and hold it. So Coinbase.com is a great way for you guys to start getting cryptocurrency. All right, guys, I've mentioned a lot of things. I'm going to stop for a second. Are there any questions about anything that I've covered up to this point? And then we're going to go on the charts. Noah says, does crypto move faster than Forex? Well, than Forex currency pairs, fiat currency pairs? Yes. But you can trade crypto on the Forex market and it is a freaking beast. And I'm going to show you guys some of the pairs that I look at that are absolutely monstrosities, including Bitcoin. It's become one of my favorite things to trade, even though I was scared of it at first because it moves so fast. But I will show you it. Now, Coinbase.com, remember this, guys, buying crypto here, this is kind of like a long-term thing, right? You're going to buy these assets little by little, and you're going to hold them. You're not going to be trading them every day. Doing that gets complicated, lots of fees involved. There's a whole other process to do that. I'm just showing you Coinbase.com so you know how to buy and sell crypto with ease and get into the investment game, all right? So any other questions as far as anything that I've mentioned so far, IML TV, IML Academy, or Coinbase.com, any of this stuff that we've mentioned, any questions on any of that? All right, cool. All right, guys, let's get into some charting, okay? So let's see what we can do here. This is on Coinbase. All right, cool. Guys, drop your favorite pairs. If there's a pair that you want me to look at, drop it in the chat right now. All right. So guys, here I have a chart of Bitcoin, right? Now, how do we trade? Okay. First of all, here's what I want you guys to be thinking about. Okay. Even swipe trades, all of you right now, your first 3 months, 6 months, especially on demo, swipe trades come in. The number one thing you can do, and if you don't have MetaTrader 4 downloaded, make sure you download it. Also, side note, when you guys download your MetaTrader and you open a demo account, change the broker of the demo account to something like Hugo's Way, okay? Because Hugo's Way has every currency pair you could think of. If you just use the regular one that's there on MetaTrader 4 when you open it, it's gonna be a whack, brokerage. They don't do cryptos. Sometimes they don't even do gold. So you want to make sure that where you say open a demo account in your MetaTrader 4, click on choose from a broker, look for Hugo's Way, and that's a great broker to do a demo account with, okay? Now, when you look at a chart like this, guys, okay, always start on your higher time frames, right? So write this down, top-down analysis, top-down analysis. You want to start in your biggest time frame, right? Weekly candles, daily candles, okay? And if you don't know what candles are, make sure you go back to the academy and dive into the academy so that you can understand candles a little better. Also, guys, write this down, the Candlestick Bible. You could download that on your iPhone, your Android, and it's a great way to learn what candlesticks are. Abel Melendez teaches deep on candlesticks, so does Derek Zelenon, so you guys can learn from them. I'll go through some basics about candlesticks in just a few moments, all right? So you're gonna have your weekly candles, your daily candles, okay? And what you wanna do is on your trading view, okay, so like let's say these are the weekly candles right here. Do you wanna find strong zones in the weekly and daily candles? Now, some people, right, and even in the academy, it's gonna show you that you could draw trend lines like this. Just a straight line, right? Now, that's cool, okay? That's how I started. I just wanted to draw some freaking lines, okay? Also, guys, you see this grid that's behind me? I like this grid because it kind of keeps everything in place. The ones that are side to side, horizontal grid, so those gaps, like on the weekly candles, these are actually separated by, I believe, let me see. Well, these are days. So let's do it this way better. All right. So these are, different days. So July 1st to I guess July 4th, that's 4 candles. July 4th to July 8th, that's 4 candles, right? So it kind of divides it by time. But the reason that I use it is because it divides it by whole numbers, right? So I guess you could say, sideways, okay? The horizontal line is actually, so there's horizontal spacing, but let's forget that, right? Because that's actually vertical. So the horizontal lines that you see here, if you notice on the corner, each horizontal line, guys, is on a whole number. Now, I want you guys to understand something pretty cool here. This is very important to get. If you notice where I put this line, guess where it was? This is on a weekly time frame, guys. Guess where this whole number and this line ended up being? Who wants to show me where this ended up being? Right by a freaking whole number. Okay? 95.75. So you know how when you type in your trade, there's all these decimal points? If you notice, most major support and resistance zones are around whole numbers, right? They call it whole number theory. I don't care about the theory. I don't care about what somebody thought. All I know is every time that I draw a zone, I go back and I look, and it's usually around a whole number. So what does that mean, guys? When price goes towards a whole number, right, it's probably going to bounce. When Bitcoin goes to $10,000, guess what happens? Look right here. Has a hard time closing below it. Why? Because right now there's a level of support at the $10,000 mark, right? So guess what? I don't draw lines on my support and resistance. And by the way, guys, a lot of people are falling off. They're going to miss the meat and potatoes because I promise you by the end of this, everybody's going to have some value. I'm going to give you guys the sauce today. All right. So what I do is I draw them as zones. So if you look here, yeah, I could put a line here, guys, but actually it's actually like a zone because you notice sometimes it barely wicks this right here, but other times it kind of broke through and then shot back up, right? And this is right around 9,600. Right here, Bitcoin dropped to 9,600, and guess what? It's shooting up. Now it's actually doing what's called a morning star, okay? And if you guys want to know what a morning star is, it's right here. I want you to picture. What does the sun do in the morning, guys? The sun goes up, right? When you guys see a big candle like this, a doji like this. A doji is just a line with a little bit of a candle, so a wick with a little bit of a body. And then you see another candle shooting up in the opposite direction. That typically means there's now going to be some bullish momentum. All right. So that's what's forming right now on the daily candles is this doji here. So we may see price shoot up a couple thousand pips. So right now, if you see Crypto Picasso send out a swipe coin, and he says, you know what, buy Bitcoin, according to Steve Max, right now we're seeing signs of bullish momentum. So now you have two confluences. You got two confirmations right there to enter on a buy on Bitcoin if you feel like you should buy it, right? So I look at the zones and then I look at what's happening in that zone. Is there rejection in that zone? See, guys, I don't really trade outside of zones. If it's in the middle of a zone, personally, this is me talking out of personal opinion, I don't really like to trade outside of daily and weekly zones, okay? Why? There's just too much noise, right? So here's what I'm seeing, guys. You see these zones right here? Look at the daily candles when they hit this zone. There's always rejection. Do you guys see that? Does everybody understand what I see? If you understand what I see, drop a 111. If you don't understand what I see, I want you to ask questions right now before I continue. Now, check this out. How many pips are between these zones? Look at this. On Bitcoin, there's 993 pips between this zone down here and this zone up here. If you just bought down here because it's shooting up, you could catch almost 1,000 pips, right? This is why I love cryptocurrency. Noah, that you had asked me, hey, you know, is Bitcoin faster, cryptocurrency faster? Yeah. And look, there's still another 500 pips in this zone left. So if you get a good opportunity to buy, you could still go up for another 500 pips, okay? Now, I start on the weekly. I go down to the daily. Now I'm getting to the meat and potatoes, 4-hour candles. At the 4-hour level, guys, this is where you really start seeing some action. You can really start reading this thing, right? Now, I'll tell you right now, just by looking at it, there's kind of like a minor zone here on the 4-hour time frame, right around this area, the 10,200 zone right here. So right now it's facing some rejection, right? But because of this massive bullish candle, all right, and here's another one if you guys don't know. Bullish is the same as buy. Bullish is the same as going up. Bearish is like a bear with its paw going down. So bearish is on its way down, right? I usually coordinate red candles to the downside, bearish, blue candles or green candles to the upside, bullish. So the question becomes, well, what's going to happen right now because Bitcoin hit this area, right? According to the momentum, it's probably going to do this right now, right? Because if you're just looking from zone to zone on the daily, weekly, boom, that's what's probably going to do. But guess what? We're going to wait and see what the candles tell us. We're going to let price dictate it. Here's a nugget for you. Don't try to predict the market. React to the market. So just because, yo, I want Bitcoin to go up. Listen, I don't care if Bitcoin goes up. I don't care if Bitcoin goes down. I care if I'm reading the market in a way that makes sense. Okay? And then I buy or I sell, not based on what I want, but based on what the market is showing me at this present moment. All right? So this is pretty much what it could do. Now, here's where people mess up with these zones, right? Personally speaking, right? I'm not a master educator. I'm not a master trader, but here's what I say. I'm not looking at zones on the 1 hour, right? Like my zones are already drawn out by the time I get to 1 hour. The 1 hour is just showing me what I'm looking for. And you got to learn how to read candlesticks. Again, go to the Candlestick Bible. Abel Melendez does a really good job at that. Whenever Derek does trainings, make sure you watch that. Lots of good candlestick stuff, okay? That's how you get into these prices, all right? Now, I'll show you guys one more thing about these zones. And that's, you know, sometimes when you're reading the candlesticks, by the way, guys, how you change the candlesticks on TradingView is this thing right here. And there's all these options, right? There's all these different types of stuff that you could look at. I only use right now candlesticks. And there's this cool thing that you could do, which is this line graph. Now, the line graph is cool because it kind of takes out all the noise. And you can literally just look at where are the points in the market, okay? Without even knowing anything about candles, you could just read a line chart and look at where are the highs, where are the lows, and you know, and you can mark it up that way. So sometimes what I'll do is, you know, I'll wait for, you know, I'm sorry, I was reading the question. I'll look for the candlesticks, I'll check it with the lines, I'll go back and forth a couple of times and try to get the best zones that I can get drawn out, right? So would you wait for a retest and then enter the trade? Typically, yes. Okay, now I'm not one of these people that says no retest, no entry, but Christopher Derrick does a good job at that, okay? And it's an extra confirmation, guys, okay? It's an extra confirmation that helps you. Now, I'll give you an example real quick of when I wouldn't have waited for it. So let's say you see this zone here, guys, down here. I see this zone here. I see price goes to the zone, and I start seeing this doji effect, right? You see this? Start seeing like all these dojis. Now check it out. It did go up. It came back to retest, and then it shot up. So that would have been a good idea, Noah, on the whole, you know, retest thing. You know, sometimes you don't get an opportunity for a retest. So if I like what's showing me on the candles, I'll just get in, okay? Now here's another one, okay? The times that you trade are vital, okay? Very, very important. A lot of times when I was starting to trade London session, I was getting into trades like around 12 o'clock, 11 o'clock because of the candles that I was reading. But then at 3 a.m., it totally went in another direction. Why? There wasn't enough volume in the market. All right. So one of the things that Wealthy Pips, he was a swipe trader for many months or a couple years maybe. He's not on there right now like that, but he's currently about to go chairman and he's doing a lot of stuff. He may be back, I'm not sure, but he would always say that you need to know what you trade and when you trade it, right? So for instance, Bitcoin doesn't care about sessions. Bitcoin can do it at 6 o'clock in the afternoon, in the evening, or it could do it at 6 o'clock in the morning. But most Forex pairs, okay, you want to do it in session. So USD pairs typically are going to move when? During the New York session. They will move during London as well, but you want to trade it, you know, early in the morning, 8 a.m., 6 a.m., right, 10 a.m., all right? You're not going to trade US pairs at 10 o'clock at night. You can, but you're not going to get the best entries. So you want to enter a trade in the session of that pair. British pound pairs, you want to trade it during London session. Could you trade it during other sessions? Yes, but it's going to move more powerfully in the session that it's supposed to be. So if you're going to trade GBP pairs, trade them during London session. Does that make sense? Okay. So trade London session pairs, European pairs during 3 a.m. Eastern time London sessions. Trade New York pairs, also gold. Gold likes to move mostly during New York. It does move during London, but it's typically a New York pair. US 30, typically also a US pair, can move during London, right? Now Tokyo pairs, guess what? You're going to want to trade those, you know, like, you know, if you're going to trade Australian pairs, Japanese pairs, will they move during London? Yes. Will they move during New York? Yes. But they are, you know, during Tokyo times. Don't trade European pairs during Tokyo time. If you go through the Forex basics, it's going to tell you about different sessions. Trade the pairs during session. I trade British pound pairs in the London session. I trade New York's pairs or American pairs in the New York session. So everything has its time to trade it, and you want to confirm your trades during those times. And then the cool thing about cryptocurrency is it's 24 hours a day, 7 days a week on most brokers. So you can trade Ethereum, Ripple, Bitcoin 24/7. Just know that they're very volatile. also know about trading cryptocurrency. They have what's called a high spread. So if you notice, guys, when you enter a trade, okay, so like if you were to trade right now and you were to get into Bitcoin, if you don't have a good broker, you'll be 200 pips negative the minute that you enter a trade, okay? So you're gonna have to make sure, by the way, guys, Bitcoin is on the move, all right? Bitcoin is on the move. So be watching that. You gotta make sure that you have a good broker because the spreads will kill you, right? The same thing, like if you get in a trade like around, you know, 5, 6 p.m., right? So the brokers, they close usually around 5. Let's say you get in around 6. Sometimes the spreads are higher, right? Because it's not in session, all right? Also, be careful of keeping a trade over to the next day. So let's say you have a stop loss put in. Depending on your broker, especially Hugo's Way, for whatever reason, sometimes when 5 o'clock hits, there's these crazy swap charges that happen. The spreads get crazy. I've had people in trades that were in profit hit a stop loss at 5 because they couldn't cover the swap fees. They couldn't cover the spread. So guys, make sure that if you're in a trade after 5 p.m., you're watching that because a broker can close you out because you're not in session. Typically, you know, depending on the trade, I've got a great broker now, which is CoinEx. CoinExX. I love it. The spreads are amazing. The only thing is you got to send your money in Bitcoin and you get your withdrawals in Bitcoin. But hence why I told you to get a Coinbase account, start buying your Bitcoin so you can send your Bitcoin through there. Okay. CoinEx, guys, I get into Bitcoin trades and it only charges me, you know, 4 or 5 pips as a spread compared to Hugo's Way, which will be 200 pips a spread. All right. Now, every broker has its ups and downsides. Traders Way doesn't do cryptos. You know, American brokers typically do not do cryptos on the foreign exchange. So, you know, there's a lot to do there. If you have questions about specific brokers, you can message me directly and I'll give you as much advice as I can, and so that you can make the decision that you want to make. All right. So good stuff. Any questions on any of that? I know I covered a bunch of random things, but I'm trying to think of everything that you may run into an issue with or a complication with. Now, Tony says, what pairs would I trade in the evening in Miami? Now, here's the thing, Tony, about trading in the evening, okay? You can do it. You can typically trade Australian pairs are very good, you know, during Tokyo session. You know, you can really, you know, do a lot with the Australian pairs, like AJ, AUD, JPY is a good one. You know, you could trade AUD, USD. There's some great news trading that happens around 9 p.m., 8 p.m. Eastern time, because Australia has great pairs that move hardcore for the news, and they swing high. But really, Australian pairs and Japanese pairs are the pairs that you want to be trading during the evenings. Now, here's the thing. It's not going to move like crazy, so they're good pairs to kind of get your feet wet. You know, you can also do AUD, CHF, the Australian dollar versus the Swiss franc, right? Like things like that, they move slow, but you can still make money, right? So in the evenings in Miami, it's going to be very slow to trade that, but that's a great place to start. Eventually, guys, most of you guys will not be trading Tokyo, right? Because what you're asking for, Tony, is actually the Tokyo session and Australian session. That's great to like kind of practice with. The web analyzer, guys, is great to scout. You can use the web analyzer a lot during the Tokyo and Australian session, and there's IML TV for that. But eventually, if you really want to get deep into trading, you're going to be trading the London session, which starts at 3 a.m. Eastern time, okay? Or the New York session, which starts at 8 a.m. Eastern time. Now, here's the great thing. On my team, I've got a gentleman by the name of Silver Steph. He's a great trader, made some great money already trading, been with me for about a year, but he knows his stuff, guys. Every morning at 3 a.m., we have a trading session that you can log into called the Pip Drip Sessions. Message me, I'll give you the link. You know, so show me that you're an active customer, show me that you have an active package. I'll give you access to that call. Every morning at 3 a.m., we do live trading. You can get in, get on the trades that we take, as well as learn the strategies that we're doing. Now, 7:30 a.m., We have a New York session every day, Monday through Friday. That's 7:30 a.m. Eastern. You guys can get in on that as well. Ask me for the link and I'll send it to you. And that's from my friend Dominate with Greg. He's out there in Texas right now. He's my partner, been with me since the beginning that I started. An excellent trader, knows a lot of information. And he hosts a trading call every morning at 7:30 a.m. Eastern time. So when you guys start really trading, the Tokyo and Australian session is not really where you're going to be trading. But if you want to do that right now, I believe it was Tony, you can do that. Again, Australian pairs, Japanese pairs, Swiss franc pairs, all good during that time. They all kind of collaborate and they'll move slow during that time. But they will actually even then kick it up during London and New York, right? So those same pairs, if the move that you were looking for doesn't finish around 8, 9, 10 p.m. because it's a slow market, it'll definitely move once London hits. All right, guys, is that all making sense? If it is, drop a 111 in the chats. Awesome. Awesome. So guys, start from the weekly time frame, okay? The weekly time frame, you're going to look at the zones. Now, there's a couple of important things. They're going to show you, and you're welcome, Tony, the weekly time frame is going to show you the zones. That's really the number one thing I want you to understand from the weekly time frame. Each candle means 1 week of time, right? But also, it's going to give you a picture of the overall trend. Now, without getting really complicated, is Bitcoin on an uptrend or a downtrend right now? Off of the high time frame, which is the weekly. Somebody drop it in the chats. Is it on an uptrend or a downtrend? Super bullish, Lewis. Noah, definitely on an uptrend, right? Mike Coyote, it's on an uptrend. Now check this out. You need to now know in the back of your mind, Bitcoin is bullish. Overall, Bitcoin is bullish. So you don't want to bet on Bitcoin dropping anytime soon on the bigger time frame, right? It could, but it's just according to the trend right now, it's on its way up, right? So you're going to look at the overall trend on the weekly. You're going to get some zones on the weekly. The daily is really just a magnifying glass of what the weekly was doing. But guess what? We know it's on an uptrend, but now we realize something, guys. What is Bitcoin doing right now on the daily? Who wants to tell me what it's doing right now on the daily? Shoot a guess. I don't care. There's uptrends, there's downtrends, and then there's what? Okay, yes, it's having some resistance. Yes. It's ranging. Thank you, Danny. It's ranging, right? A ranging market, guys, means it's kind of bouncing between these zones, right? Bouncing between these zones. It's consolidating. Exactly, Julio. And guys, here's also a side note. In trading, a lot of times you're going to hear the same word you're going to hear different words for the same thing. Consolidation, a range, it's ranging, right? All of that just means it's moving up and down within the same area. It's not really doing anything. It's making people money here. It's taking people's money here. It's making people money here, right? It's just bouncing around, right? Now, the cool thing is it couldn't be just catching some momentum, guys, for a massive, massive move to the upside again, where now it blows past 13,000, which guess what? That's what I think is happening, right? I could be dead wrong. But right now what I'm doing is buying as much cryptocurrency as I can, because guess what? If this thing shoots up there, I want to be ready for it. Because guess what? It hit 13,000 before, guys, but it's really going to come back up to test that $20,000 zone. Look at this. Been shooting up. Could it shoot back down? Yes. It could shoot as far down as maybe like 7,000, maybe if we're lucky 5,000 so that we can buy some freaking major crypto, right? But right now it's just ranging in this market. So it could be flagging. There's something called a flag. So it's going up and then it ranges and then it shoots up again. That's a bullish flag. You could do the same thing on the way down. But here's what I want you to get. Overall, you know that it's on an uptrend. And then you see these zones and it's just shooting from zone to zone, right? You can make money in a ranging market. A lot of people say you don't want to trade in a ranging market. That's true if it's on a 1 hour time frame. Why would you trade in a zone on a 1 hour time frame? I don't even consider that a zone. For me, a zone is created on the weekly, daily, and 4 hour candles. If you just learn how to draw these lines, guys, on the weekly, daily, and 4 hour candles, guys, all you got to do is look for freaking entries in between the zones. I want you to look at this. Look at this. By the way, this little measuring tool here tells you, how to measure. So would you wait for a break and then re-enter? Yeah, exactly. So like right now, there's a 4 hour zone right here. So what I would want, guys, and here's the thing about Bitcoin, you may not get that re-entry, but what I picture it doing is exactly what these little red lines are showing, right? I picture it blowing past this little zone here, and then maybe I would wait for a re-entry to confirm it. And then if the candle's on a lower time frame, so we're looking at 4 hour, right? Let's say the 4 hour breaks through this zone on the next one, then I'll take it to the 1 hour and read the candles. But check me out. Look at what I see here. It's touching the zone, guys. Form the doji. Hello. If I get a big, bearish candle here, I may look for a sell, but I'll be honest. Because of this huge bullish candle, even though I see a doji here, and this is what's going to be called an evening star. So an evening star just means a big bullish candle, a doji, which is just this thin little candle here. And then you see it start moving to the downside. If this ends up coming down here somewhere, really you would have wanted it to kind of break structure, would be ideal. But if you get a bearish candle here, that's actually called an evening star. It usually symbolizes that it's going to drop, okay? But because this is Bitcoin and there's all this upward momentum, I'm not even touching this right now, right? What I think is probably going to happen is going to go up. It's going to go up past the zone, retest, and then shoot up. He is saying to zone on weekly, daily, or 4 hour. 1 hour is too small. So you're saying that we can trade ranging markets on the weekly and daily. Yes, exactly, Danny. Ranging markets on the weekly and daily are fine, right? If you see, if you see price at a weekly low, all right? So look at this. Look at this weekly low. I don't care what happens here. Let's say all of a sudden price comes down again and touches this area here. Look at this, right? That's a weekly low. What am I going to be looking for if price comes all the way down here? I'm going to look to buy it, right? Why? Because it's a weekly zone. It's hard for price to break resistance or support on a weekly, So you can trade it in a ranging market, but only up to like the weekly, daily zones, right? Maybe some 4 hour zones, but that's it. Okay? But don't go down to like the 1 hour and say, oh man, look at this zone. Like somebody might do this. Check this out. Somebody may say, oh man, look at this zone right here. And look at this zone right here. Yo, I'm going to trade this. Bro, that's the 1 hour time frame. You can't trade from zone to zone on a 1 hour time frame. But on a 4 hour time frame, those are nice zones that you can trade from, right? So look, that's all that Bitcoin has done. Look at it. Look at all the trades you could have gotten. It ranged from here to here. Was almost 1,400 pips. It ranged from here to here. That's 1,300 pips. It ranged from here, came back into the zone to here. That's 1,400 pips. And guess what's happening again? It's just doing it again. All right? It's just going to do it again. Eventually, though, it's going to come out of that range. You understand what I'm saying? But right now, All I care about is, do I know where the ranges are, and am I looking for entries in those ranges? All right, that's it. I don't know what the heck happened. Let me see if I can. All right, let me go to, oh, that's what happened. It went to US 30. Let me go to Bitcoin. All right. So that's my whole take on zones, guys. Now let's go to some other stuff. All right. So let's say I draw out my zones. You know, if price is like in the middle of a zone, like let's say right now price was somewhere like in here. Just to give you an example, price is right there, right? Personally, I don't really trade like that. So I'm not going to get in here, right? I'm going to wait for price to come back to a zone. And then I want to see some rejection on some candlesticks. And I want it to confirm with me, how do I know to get into this trade and watch it go to the other side, right? That's all I'm going to do. I'm going to wait for confirmations in a zone. And then that's when I get in. Like, look, you see all of these wicks here? It touched, it shot up. It touched, it shot up. It touched, it shot up, right? Just this little trade right here is 657 pips on Bitcoin, right? So what do I trade, guys? I like to trade, and this is like aggressive stuff. You don't have to do this right now, but I like to trade Bitcoin. I like to trade gold, and I like to trade US 30, all right? Bitcoin, gold, US 30. If you learn how to trade just one of those pairs really, really good, literally, you don't have to trade anything else, and you can make all the money that you could ever want to make just on that, because it's thousands of pips, okay? But what I'm talking, look, this is US 30 right here, guys. What is it doing? It's going from zone to zone. That's all it does. Ups and downs, ups and downs, ups and downs, and you just ride the wave through the zones until you have a breakout. And what is a breakout? Very simple. A breakout is a zone, okay? It's a zone. Like, look, it hasn't been able to break out, right? But look at this one. It broke out here. It broke out here. You see that wick? This little wick here? It came back and retested on that wick. And then it shot up. That's how you trade breakouts. Very simple. Very simple, right? So look, that's the 4 hour, but look at it on the 1 hour. Check it out, guys. On the 1 hour, this is how you trade a breakout. So you had this zone down here. It shot up, shot through the zone, right? Then remember, guys, zones are like magnets. Take note of that. Zones are like magnets. It shot up, and then like a magnet, it comes back down. And then what did it do? It just shot up, right? Like, guys, trading is simple, okay? Let me give you guys a bit of advice. There are many expert traders, master traders that will make this very complicated for you. They will use a lot of complicated words. They want to sound really, really smart, okay? Don't let that fool you. A lot of those times, those people that make this thing so freaking complicated aren't even that profitable, right? Trading is simple. It does have its complexities. There's a lot of complex things about trading, but I want you to understand that it's simple enough for you to do if you just look at it in a simple way. If you overcomplicate it, guess what's going to happen? You're going to overcomplicate it. You're going to panic when you're trading. You're not going to know what you're doing. You're going to be scared. You're going to feel, man, I can never do this. I don't understand it, right? Trading is simple. That's how you trade a breakout. It's a freaking zone that you drew out. I already showed you how to do that. Then you're watching the candlesticks, shoots out of the zone. A candlestick comes back, touches the zone, and guess what? You enter. Where do you enter? You enter right here. Enter right here. Let me magnify it so you can see it. Enter right there. You see that red candle? That red candle came down on the 1 hour time frame. And then it started a bullish candle. If you truly believe that this is a zone and you like what you see, get in that freaking trade. Thousands of pips got shot up after that, guys, all by trading from zone to zone, right? And guess what? It got to this resistance level, right? And guess what happened? It could not pass it. Are you guys watching me? Could not pass it. Triple top. Couldn't pass it. Came back up. Couldn't pass it. Came back up. Imagine, guys, just imagine you would have entered this US 30 trade right here. What would have happened if you would have entered there? And then it shot down from there all the way to this newfound point of structure, guys. Thousands of pips, okay? Thousands of pips. If you're getting value from this, drop a 222 in the chat. Yeah, Danny, you could do it that way. You could do it when it closes. So a closed candle is like better confirmation. But like, for instance, right, like these are 1 hour candles. The biggest confirmation, guys, like really the 4 hour, if you get a 4 hour candle that closes in your direction, that's super powerful, but you lose a lot of pips. On the 1 hour too, you may lose a lot of pips. So your entries, like personally, what I'm doing right now is I enter off of the 15-minute. So let's look at that retest, okay? Look at this retest right here. Shot through the zone. A couple of candles came back down. By the way, here's another hint. You guys ready for me? Check this out. Price shot through the zone. Where did price stop? My friends, price dropped or stopped at a whole number. Hello. It's not whole number theory. Throw that out. Oh, it's whole number theory. It makes it complicated. No, homie. It's a whole number, right? For whatever reason, trading rather stop at $1 than at $1.27. You understand? It's just how it is, right? You got it, Wendy. Thank you for being with us, okay? So price gets to a whole number, begins to reverse. Now check this out. Look at the 15-minute candles. So you don't have to really wait until the 1 hour closes. If you really study candlesticks, guys, check this out. This has a name. This type of candle right here, I don't know if you guys can see that. This candle right here that I'm pointing at, okay? There's a name for that. If you guys know the name, drop it. I don't know what it is. I like to call them arrows. I think of a bow and arrow. When you see a wick like this and a fat body at the end, it's clearly rejecting that zone, right? As soon as it rejected that zone, guys, guess what happened? That's when it shot up. You could have entered right off of this candle right here. You wouldn't have had to wait for the hour to close, and you could have gotten in that trade and shot it up. Hanging man, it may be. There's another word I'm thinking it's called like Maradar or something weird, but I'm not too fancy with the verbiage, bro. All I know is that that is a clear indication of a rejection of a zone, and it typically means it's going to shoot up. All right? Now, guess what, guys? Guess what? 17 people left on this call, right? There was almost 30 people on this call. But guess what? Only those that stayed to the end are going to get the sauce. How many of you guys want to see the sauce? If you want to see the sauce, I want you to type, I want the sauce in the chat box right now. Lewis says, so when you see long wicks under the candle, it shoots up. Exactly, bro. Exactly. When you guys see long wicks, I want you to picture it's usually going to start to reverse, right? Oh, sauce it up. Let's go. When you see wicks, wicks are the thin lines. I know my boy Lewis, like today's like literally his day one, right? So wicks are these little thin lines, guys, okay? On the edge of the candles, like right here, that's a wick. So there's this saying which is like, oh, wicks tell a story, which they do, right? Wicks mean that price could not close in that area. There was too much resistance. There was too much support. And so when you see a wick, it means price touched the point that nobody can hold. And there was so many buyers or sellers in the market, it shot the price back up. So pay attention to wicks. If you see a lot of wicks in a certain direction, price is typically going to go the other way. So let me see if I can figure out a way to show you what I mean. Look at this right here. Okay? Right here. So these are candlestick variations that you can learn. Okay? Again, here you have an evening star. Price came back up, and then you have like an evening star variation there. Okay, it basically means price couldn't pass that point. Okay, look, here's a wick. I mean, a lot of wicks. Look at this. Look at this wick, guys. Price came down here, shot back up. Okay, so just pay attention to wicks. It typically indicates that price is in an area that it wants to reverse at. All right. So for the remaining moments on this call, for the 17 people that have been on here for the last hour with me, I'm going to give you guys now the secret sauce that all of you guys want. Okay. Now here's what I want. I want you to use this that I'm going to show you, and I want you to make sure that as you make money, you tell people I learned in IML. I want you to tell people IML gave me the sauce. I want you to tell people that this community is the real deal. Who is willing to commit to that? That if you make money, you're not going to say, I'm too good for IML. You're not going to say, I don't need IML anymore. You're going to do the opposite. You're going to bring people into IML so that you can bless their lives as well. Who will do me that favor? Who's willing to do that for me if I give them something that's powerful right now? Remain humble. Absolutely. Tony's with me too. Tori's with me too. All right, here we go. I'm going to give you a little bit about this right now. We'll go over it again next week, but I want to give you this so that you guys can use this to confirm your swipe trade, swipe coin. You can use what I'm about to show you to confirm your harmonic scanner patterns. You can use this for anything, all right? You got to write this stuff down. You ready? Who's ready? Who's ready? You guys ready? Let me show you the crossover strategy. This crossover strategy is going to allow you to trade anything at any time, any signal that they send you, you're going to double confirm it. I don't get into a trade unless my crossover strategy confirms it, okay? So check this out. Number one, there's these things called SARs. You guys see these little blue dots? SARs. Okay, you can put this on your trading view, okay, by looking for parabolic SAR. Okay, parabolic SAR. Write this down. The settings for the parabolic SAR are 5, 0.05, 0.02, and 0.2. Okay. Again, it's 0.05, 0.02, and 0.2. And then the style, what I do is you got to change it to these little dots. And I take off all this other stuff. Like it'll say long and short. I mean, I don't really need that. If you need that, you can keep it. Also, I make it compatible with my candlesticks. Red simply means bearish, it's going down. Blue means bullish, it's going up. All right. But the inputs, you got to write that down, 0.05, 0.02, and 0.2. Now, there's two things happening here. There's an EMA and an MA, right? All these are these acronyms are exponential moving average, EMA, and moving average is MA, okay? The EMA, this is the input that you got to set for it. 8, close, and 0. Again, that's 8, close, and 0, and you could use whatever color that you want to use. I use magenta for this, but you can use whatever you want, okay? Just something that you're going to be able to see. And then the MA is going to be 18, close, and 0. Write that down. 18, close, and 0. All right? And I just do it yellow because that's easy on my eyes. Guys, here's a quick trick. Some of you guys may like this better. You can go with a dark theme. Okay? Depending on the time of day and my mood, sometimes I'll go dark. Sometimes I'll go light. Okay? So whatever's good on your eyes, that's a little trick for you guys to know, okay? Now, how does this work? And we're going to wrap up this call in exactly 6 minutes, and then we'll be back next week on Wednesday, all right? But I want you guys to use this. You could also plug this into your cell phone, okay, on your MetaTrader 4. Basically, what happens is this, guys. Let me remove that and that. So if you just did parabolic SAR, all that it's doing is when you see these blue dots at the bottom, that means it's on an uptrend shooting up. When you see these red dots on the top, all that means it's on a downtrend shooting down. Very simple, right? Where it flips, that's your entry point. So for instance, here, the red dots going down means that it's on a sell. The blue dots going up, well, that's on a buy. And then you just ride that thing up. On certain pairs like US 30, you could actually trade it just on the SAR flip, get in on it, right? So like when it flipped here, here's the candle for it right here. So you could have got in here and you could have made whatever that is. On Bitcoin, oh, what am I, on the dailies? Sheesh. You're probably not going to trade this on the daily, but if you did, that was almost 4,000 pips in 3 days, right? Freaking nuts, isn't it? That's just on a SAR flip. Now, it started a downward trend, so you want to usually go with the trend with this. So look at this. If you would have sold it here because it was on a downward trend, you don't get out until the SAR flips again. Guys, that would have been 7,000 pips, okay? US 30, entries are on 5-minute and 15-minute on US 30, okay? Yes, Danny, it's very, very powerful, bro, okay? Now check this out. SAR flips are cool, and if you get good, you can trade just on SAR flips, but check this out. This is the sauce. When the SAR flips and the EMAs cross, that is all the confirmation that I need. I usually will do this down. You know, I don't usually do this on the daily because I don't swing trade like daily swing trades. That's massive. I usually will trade from 4 hour to 1 hour, right? Let's say you did this on the 1 hour. Check this out. The SAR was flipping. It finally flipped here. It really flipped here, and it crossed here, okay? Yes, what I'm showing you, Tony, will work on any crypto, any Forex, anything. You could use it on stocks, all right? You want to trade some Apple stock? Bite into this apple right here, all right? Check this out. SAR flips, EMAs cross. Let's say you would have just waited for, so one of the things I'm working on now is super confirmation. So sometimes when it crosses, guys, I wait for it to finish crossing, or you could start looking at it at the lower time frames because it'll cross on the lower time frames first, okay? If it crosses on the lower time frames first, like on the 15 and 30-minute, and you see that on the 1 hour, it's getting close, you can get in it, all right? Let's say you were getting in on BTC here, like look at this one right here. SAR flipped, crossover happened. Let's say you would have waited an extra candle. So you would have waited for this one. Let's say you would have got in kind of right here, and you would have stayed in it until the SAR flipped again to the other side. Guys, that's 823 pips on Bitcoin, right? Let's go to a regular pair because you might say, Steve, I don't want to trade crypto. Okay, let's go to EJ. I'm not even trading EJ right now, right? But look at EJ, guys. Look at this. The SAR flips, so it had been on an uptrend, but overall on the daily, let's see what it would have been on. This is on the daily time frame. All right? On the daily time frame, it's on a downtrend, okay? So let's say it was shooting down, it shot up, and I'm looking for an entry point, right? Around this area here, it would have been kind of hard to get in. It did some weird stuff. But let's say right here is where you would have gotten in, right? Let's go down like the 4 hour, 2 hour. Let's say you would have got in on EJ right here. So like it was kind of ranging, so it would have been hard to catch it well. But let's say you would have caught it right here. SAR flipped, it crossed to the downside. You would have got in like on the very next candle, let's say about right here. Let's say you would have written it. If you would have just written this, so this is EJ, you would have got about 28 pips, right there. Boom. A lot of people, if you catch 28 pips, guys, you're good, right? If you would have just wrote it to the SAR flip again, all right? But look at this. It really shot down. Let's say you wouldn't have gotten out. It's flipped here. It crossed there. You would have got in here. You could have still been writing this thing down, guys, for 140 pips, right? So it's very, very powerful. I don't do it on EJ much. I don't trade EJ right now a lot. But look at this. Like, check this one out. This is the pound dollar. So it dropped, SAR flipped, it crossed right here. This thing shot up 136 pips. All right? And you could do this all day. SAR flipped, it crossed. Guess what? Dropped 80 pips. So you could literally use the SAR flip crossover strategy for anything. Let's say you get a swipe trade. They say, hey, you should trade gold right now. You know what I do? I go look at my SAR flips. I go look at my crossover and I say, okay, what is the SAR flip showing me? What is the crossover showing me? And that's when I'll get in it, right? So I'll wait for a crossover. I'll wait for a SAR flip. And then if a swipe trade comes in and says buy gold, sell gold, then that's when I get in it, right? 20 pips, 30 pips right there, right? So I use this as confirmation, guys. Let me bring it all together now back to Bitcoin. So here are my trades, and this is where we'll end for the night. So remember, I told you we're trading in the zones, right? We're trading in the zones. Now check this out. It rejected the zone right here. The SAR flipped right where it rejected the zone. Then there was a crossover that happened right up in here. If I would have gotten into BTC knowing my zones, seeing it flip, seeing it cross over, guess what? It shot up 1,300 pips. How many of you guys could become professional traders if you could catch 1,000 pips a move, right? That's all it is. So trade zone to zone, wait for the SAR flip, wait for the crossover. Guys, you could use this for harmonic patterns. You can use this on a harmonic scanner. You can use this for swipe trades, swipe coin. You could use this for gold cup, right? Yeah, Tony, that's it. It's simple, okay? Keep it simple. Now, the last thing I'm going to share with you guys is the long position, short position. Now, all of you guys know stop losses and take profits because that's what you've been shown, right? So let's say, for instance, I know where there's a zone. I know that this is a zone right here because I drew it on the 4-hour, the daily, right, the weekly. I know that there's a zone there, right? I see that there's rejection in that zone because of wicks. Then my SAR flips, right? Then there's a cross happening. Now I want to manually enter the trade, right? How do I know where to put my stop loss and my take profit? Who here wants to tell me what people have told them where to put your stop loss and your take profit? Has somebody told you this is how you do a stop loss take profit? I want you to write in the chat box what somebody has told you your stop loss and your take profit should be according to them. What has somebody told you your stop loss should be? A 20 pip stop loss. That's what they tell you, right? Okay. I want you guys, that's good, but that don't work. All right? Doesn't work. Doesn't work. Okay? In my opinion, doesn't work. All right? This is how, from what I understand, from how people that really trade look at the market, that's not how you do trading. Right? I'm going to tell you right now, please don't go back to the person who taught you that and tell them Steve Max told me otherwise. Don't do that. Try it out for yourself. If 20 pip stop losses work for you, that's great. Do that. This is how I do stop losses. There's a tool here on TradingView that you click here and it says short position and long position. Okay? Exactly, Danny. That is part of it. That is part of it. But I'm going to show you how to accurately use it. Long position, remember I told you guys that many times a different word is used for the same meaning, right? Long is the same as buy. Long is the same as bullish. Short is the same as sell. Short is the same as bearish, okay? So here, it's a sell, so that's a short position. If I thought it was gonna go up, then I'd use the long position, right? So I come here, and I look where price is right now. So I would have probably entered this trade, probably, let's say, around here. Now, red is what your stop loss is gonna be. Green is what your take profit's gonna be. Automatically, this thing's gonna give you a 50 to 50% ratio, meaning you would lose the same amount that you would win, okay, depending on which way the market goes. It's a 1-to-1 ratio. We wanna trade at about 1-to-3 ratio. Now, let me tell you something about a stop loss. I will, you know, out of 1.5 years experience, I will say, number one, your entry is the most important thing about a trade, is where you got in on the trade. But the number two thing I would say is where your stop loss is. If your stop loss is not in a good place, you could have a winning trade and lose because your stop loss was not where it should be. Okay, where would I put my stop loss on this trade? Well, if I've got this zone, okay, I'm going to put my stop loss slightly outside of the zone and slightly beyond the whole number. Okay, slightly outside of the zone, slightly outside of a whole number. Okay, so let's say I put it right there. All right, so now, do you guys see this wick here? This is the last time that price tried to enter the zone and couldn't, right? But I have my zone all the way up here. So I'm going to go to that level. I'm going to pass that level just a little bit. Now the market has room to breathe. If the price hits that level, it's probably going to the upside. Guess what? My trade was wrong and I'm okay losing that. But what I don't want is for price to hit my stop loss and then it goes in my direction and I didn't make any money. That's happened to me a lot of times, especially guys with British pound pairs, you know, these aggressive pairs. They'll wick you out. They'll touch your zone and your stop loss and then it'll drop. So check this out. You would have gotten in this trade, and if I would have gotten into a sell here, I would have taken this to about right here. Right? Now, that's about a 1 to more than 1.5. All right, so that's about 1 to like 1 3/4 of a win to win to loss ratio. Right? So that means I'm risking 540 pips to make 924 pips. And I'm going to tell you, it would be very hard for this thing to have hit my stop loss. If I'm confirmed on the SAR flip, if I'm confirmed on the crossover, and I put a stop loss all the way up here above this wick, very, very slow chance that I'm going to get stopped out here, okay? And if you really wanted to ride this, guess what, guys? You could take this all the way to the bottom of this zone down here, and that would have been 1,400 pips. I still believe it's still coming down more right now, right? So it's shooting up a little bit, but it's probably going to come all the way down to that zone again, right around the $9,000, $9,200 area for Bitcoin, right? But let's say I just did it conservatively here. Guys, at 10 cents a pip, you're risking $54 to make $93, right? At 10 cents a pip. At $1 a pip, you're risking $540 to make $938. Again, that might be a wide stop loss for some of you guys, but that's a stop loss that's going to be hard for the market to hit if you're getting accurate entries. Does that make sense, guys? Okay? And by the way, on things like Bitcoin, US30, and gold, 20 pip stop losses are too tight. It'll wick that, go up and down, and then go in the direction that you want. So when you guys use this tool, my encouragement to you would be put your stop loss above where you think it would go, and then put your take profit where you see market. So let's say right here, guys, price dropped to here. Why would I have put it here? Because guess what? The last time that price dropped, so why would I have put my take profit there? Because the last time that price dropped, there was resistance right in this area, right up in here. So guess what? that's where my take profit's going to be, right up in there. All right, look in the past and it'll tell you the future. So it wicked, my stop loss is above the wick. I'm going to ride that thing down to the last market structure point, which is right around this area, which is right around a whole number, which is 9,800. Okay, and that's where my take profit would be, right around 9,800. And sometimes I'll put like 97.99, you know, 97.95. I'm not going to wait to get to 9,800 because sometimes it'll just barely touch it and then reject it, you know? Yeah. Always look left. Absolutely. Lewis, what do you mean about the crossover? Let me know what you mean by that. Okay. The crossover already happened. And so what I'm showing you guys right now is how to enter what's called your take profit and your stop loss. So remember, SAR already had flipped. I got the crossover. I'm going to enter it. How do I find where to put as my stop loss and my take profit? Now, if you look at this tool, guys, check it out. It gives you the number. So you look over here, and it actually gives you the number on the sides. It's telling you your take profit is 97.40, and it's telling you that your stop loss is 11.97. Okay, it kind of shows you that here, this little red mark here, this little green mark here. Okay, yeah, on the resistance line, you could. This is actually a Fibonacci line, but I don't have time to get into Fibonacci tonight. That's a little bit more advanced. What do I mean by SAR flip? This is what I mean. These dots, remember I showed you the parabolic SAR? These dots, where it flips means that the direction of price is probably about to change. When it flips to the top side, that means it's about to drop. When it flips to the bottom side, that means it's going to go up. And you usually want to do this with the trend. So here you're on a downward trend, so pay more attention to the red dots. If you were on an upward trend, like let's say right here, right, you're going to look at the SAR flip on the blues. So every time the SAR flips to the blues is a buy. And then when it finally flips on a resistance point with the reds, that is a sell. All right. Guys, I know that may be a lot for the first call, but I really want you guys to know that we're going to have value on these calls. And if you're watching the video, make sure you reach out to me with any questions you may have, take notes, and make sure that you plug in next Wednesday.